Chapter 1551. However, those youths were all looking at He Yu with disdain and disdain. Lu Ming had gotten the reward himself. They were not so despicable as to split the reward with Lu Ming. Yu. He Yu was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood when he saw everyone's disdainful gazes. He looked at the Sage Realm Elder and said, "Elder, you must uphold justice. Shut up and get lost. Don't embarrass yourself here." The Sage State Elder scolded coldly and looked at He Yu with disgust. He Yu turned pale and stood there tongue-tied. "Do you want to be slapped too?" Lu Ming looked at the people from Silver City. The people from Silver City turned pale. They did not dare to say a word and quickly left the fighting ring. "All right, this meeting has ended perfectly. Disciples of the 7th level and above, go back and prepare for the treasure sorting meeting," the Sage State Elder of Dragon God Valley said and stepped into the air. Buzz! At this moment, there was a terrifying fluctuation in the sky. A ray of Saint Light fell from the sky and attacked Lu Ming. This ray of Saint Light was too terrifying. It was like a divine sword, and its speed was unbelievable. Danger! Danger! At this moment, Lu Ming sensed a fatal danger. The muscles all over his body tightened, and his hair stood on end. His instincts told him to retreat, to dodge, but his body seemed to be frozen in place, unable to move at all. "Who is it?" the Sage State Elder of Dragon God Valley roared, but it was too late to help. The terrifying ray of Saint Light was about to land on Lu Ming's head. At this moment, there were ripples in the space around Lu Ming like water waves. Poof! The ray of sword light pierced Lu Ming's head. However, Lu Ming's body shattered like glass. It was an afterimage. Then the space rippled. Lu Ming's body reappeared a few meters away. On Lu Ming's shoulder, Bubble's body glowed as it chirped. It seemed that Lu Ming really thought that he was going to die just now. That was an attack that he couldn't resist. Fortunately, Bubble acted in time. Wung! The pressure in the air grew even stronger. Lu Ming looked up, and his pupils shrank. A white figure was walking down from the sky step by step. Son of God. He was the Son of God, who was known as the leader of the top 10 geniuses. Many people were shocked. The Son of God had appeared and even attacked Lu Ming. Could it be that Lu Ming had killed so many people from the Celestial Divine Sect and ruined the Celestial Divine Sect's plan to come in first place? Hence, the Son of God wanted to kill Lu Ming out of anger? A terrifying pressure emanated from the deity's body, pressing down on Lu Ming, Tianshui, and Xuanixin. It was as if a mountain was pressing down on them. Space-time domain. It seems that you were the one who secretly sabotaged the Dragon Palace, the Son of God said indifferently as he looked down at Lu Ming coldly. Finally, his gaze fell on Bubble, and a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. Lu Ming didn't say anything. He knew what the Son of God was talking about. The Son of God was talking about the sabotage of his God-forbidden ancient void talisman in the Dragon Palace. The attack just now was a test. Bubble had used the space-time domain, which proved that the person who sabotaged the Dragon Palace was Lu Ming. Of course, if it wasn't Lu Ming, the attack just now would have killed Lu Ming. Why would the Son of God care if he killed the wrong person? Then, the Son of God glanced at Tianshui and Xuanixin and said coldly, "You were the ones who took away the Dragon Palace's treasury?" "Yes, it was us," Lu Ming said. "Treasures depend on luck and wisdom. Those who are fated will get them." What a joke. Luck and wisdom. Everything is in vain in front of absolute power. The Son of God said indifferently. He stood in the air, his body emitting a milky white holy light like a deity. His tone was full of dominance and confidence in his own power. Lu Ming sneered and said with a hint of mockery, "How did that treasure fall into our hands? After I kill you today, the treasure will still be mine." Strong murderous intent burst out from the Son of God's eyes. The Son of God had won first place in 2 consecutive treasure sorting meetings, and was the leader of the top 10 prodigies in the Zhangzhou state. Everything he did was smooth sailing. No one could compete with him for any treasure. But last time, in the trip to the Dragon Palace, he suffered many losses. They had used the Divine Restriction Ancient Void Talisman, but Lu Ming had secretly destroyed it. Later on, they had chased after the Black Real Dragon's corpse, but the Black Real Dragon's corpse had escaped in the end. As for the Dragon Palace treasure house, It had fallen into the hands of Lu Ming and the other two. Unknowingly, he seemed to have suffered a great loss in front of Lu Ming and the other two. Therefore, he had to kill Lu Ming and the other two, especially Lu Ming. The surrounding people had different expressions, but they all understood that Lu Ming and the Son of God must have had a conflict because of an opportunity. And from the looks of it, the Son of God was at a disadvantage. No wonder his murderous intent was so strong. Haha, Lu Ming actually offended the Son of God. Serves him right. Serves him right. Not far away, he used Silver City, and the others were shouting in their hearts. They gloated and wanted the Son of God to kill Lu Ming immediately. Boom! Holy light shone from the Son of God's body. Endless holy light condensed into a long sword that stood between heaven and earth. Its vast power made many youths tremble. Swoosh! The terrifying sword light slashed violently toward Lu Ming. At this moment, black wings appeared behind Lu Ming's back, and a shield appeared in front of him. Tian Shui and Xuanixin both took out their holy weapons. How could they just sit and wait? Stop! The Saintess Elder of Dragon God Valley roared. She stepped in the air like a true dragon, and reached out a dragon claw toward the sword light. Boom! Heaven and earth roared. The dragon claw and the sword light dissipated. Old man, why are you meddling in the affairs of the younger generation? The Saintess Elder of Heavenly God sect rushed out from the pavilion, and slammed his palm toward the Saintess Elder of Dragon God Valley. The two of them clashed, and the sky trembled. Their bodies shook, and stood in opposite directions. Vast Saintess aura filled the air as the two of them faced each other. Go away! The Saintess Elder of Dragon God Valley shouted. I told you, why are you meddling in the affairs of the younger generation? Let them settle it themselves. The Saintess Elder of Heavenly God sect sneered. That's right. The treasure auction has ended. We old men have no reason to meddle in the affairs of the younger generation. The Saintess Elder of Heavenly Universe Demon sect said coldly. Then, the Saintess Elder of Desire Poison sect also appeared. He locked onto the Saintess Elder of Dragon God Valley to prevent him from meddling. The Saintess Elder of Dragon God Valley looked terrible. These people were determined to kill Lu Ming here. Is the Heavenly God sect such a sore loser? Seeing that Dragon God Valley and Lu Ming won first place, you want to send people to kill Lu Ming. Are you allowed to win but not others? Chapter 1552. Nonsense. The Sage Realm Elder of the Celestial God sect shouted, and looked at Qiu Yingying coldly. Qiu Yingying raised her head stubbornly and looked back at him. That's right. The Celestial God sect is such a sore loser. If you had said so earlier, we wouldn't have competed with you. We would have given you the first place. That's right. Let the other sects not participate. Tell the world that the Celestial God sect is the first in the world. The other disciples of the Dragon God Valley also shouted and glared at the deity and the Sage Realm Elder of the Celestial God sect. They directly said that the deity wanted to kill Lu Ming because Lu Ming had won first place. That was why the Celestial God sect wanted to kill Lu Ming. Shut up. The deity shouted coldly. His voice was like thunder, and a terrifying aura pressed down on the disciples of the Dragon God Valley. The disciples of the Dragon God Valley were shocked, as if a mountain was pressing down on them, making it hard for them to breathe. I, the deity, have never needed a reason to kill. But today I will give you one. The deity said indifferently, because they have done something they shouldn't have done. Therefore they must die. Even if today's meeting didn't happen, they must die. Ehe, what do you mean by something you shouldn't have done? Didn't you just let a few people with lower cultivation, then you take away your treasures? Deity, how dare you kill people? A deep voice was heard. In the void, a purple light flashed and a figure appeared in the sky. Zifeng. The demon of the Dragon God Valley. Zifeng. You want to stop me? The deity looked at Zifeng coldly. If you want to kill the people of the Dragon God Valley, we must fight. Zifeng replied. You are no match for me. The deity said coldly. We haven't fought for 3 years. Not necessarily. Zifeng said with a strong fighting spirit in his eyes. Is that so? Then I will kill you first. The deity was very aggressive. He took a step forward and the world rumbled. Terrifying saint light shot up into the sky and turned into a snow-white saint sword, slashing towards Zifeng. Roar! Zifeng let out a loud roar, and the sound of a dragon's roar reverberated in the air. Purple light radiated from his body, and dense purple dragon scales appeared on his skin. 2 dragon horns actually sprouted from his forehead. As for Zifeng's hands, they transformed into dragon claws. With a roar, Zifeng charged at the Son of God. His claws continued to claw out, shattering the Son of God's holy blade. Holy light slash. The divine child's expression remained calm. He clenched his fist in the air, and holy light coalesced into a holy blade, slashing at Zifeng. Boom! Boom! The 2 monstrous geniuses continued to fight in the air, exchanging more than 10 moves. The sky seemed to be divided into white and purple. The oppressive pressure made it difficult for people to breathe. How terrifying! Is this the power of the top 10 monstrous geniuses? It's amazing. I've seen semi-sage experts fight before, but they weren't as strong as this. They can easily kill an ordinary semi-sage expert, right? How terrifying! How could someone below the Saint Realm reach such a level? Many people cried out, feeling extremely shocked. Even the Sage Realm elders had grave expressions on their faces. Clearly, these Saint Realm experts had no choice but to pay attention to such combat prowess. The sky was completely covered by white and purple light. 2 figures were crisscrossing each other. Occasionally, dragon roars could be heard. Boom! Suddenly, there was a terrifying tremor in the sky. A figure quickly retreated, taking dozens of steps back in the air before coming to a stop. It was Zifeng. At this moment, there was a deep cut on Zifeng's body that went straight to his bones. There was a terrifying power of holy light that was constantly eroding Zifeng's body. There was a trace of blood at the corner of Zifeng's mouth. His aura was somewhat weak. Could it be that Zifeng was defeated? In the air, the Son of God strolled out. His clothes were neat and tidy, and his aura was stable. It didn't seem like he had just experienced a great battle. Everyone was shocked. It seemed that the Son of God had won, and it didn't seem like a difficult victory. The Son of God was indeed the leader of the top 10 monstrous geniuses of the Tsang state. Although they were both top 10 monstrous geniuses, Zifeng didn't seem to be a match for the Son of God. I've said it before. You're no match for me. Today I want to kill the 3 of them. No one can save them. The Son of God said, full of confidence. No one could save whoever he wanted to kill. This was the dominance of the Son of God. Originally, if he wanted to kill Lu Ming and the other 2, he could have chosen to do it elsewhere. That way, there would be less resistance and it would be easier. However, he chose to do it here because he was that domineering. He wanted to kill Lu Ming and the other 2 in front of everyone to build his reputation. Ha ha ha. At this moment Lu Ming laughed. His laughter was full of mockery. What are you laughing at? The Son of God said coldly. I'm laughing at you, Son of God. You want to kill me only because you're afraid. Why do you have to find so many high-sounding reasons? Lu Ming laughed. I'm afraid. What a joke. What do you have that makes me afraid? The Son of God said. Because of my potential. Today you've seen my potential. You're afraid that I'll catch up to you in the future. You're afraid that I'll take the first place in the treasure sorting convention 3 years later. That's why you're afraid. You're afraid of my potential. That's why you want to kill me today to prevent future troubles. Lu Ming said loudly. The words caused the hearts of many to shudder. The potential that Lu Ming had displayed this time was indeed shocking. With the cultivation of the 4th layer martial emperor realm, he had defeated and killed 10 top experts consecutively, and obtained the first place in the treasure ordering party. In the history of the Tsang continent, there had never been such a shocking achievement since the treasure ordering party was established. Lu Ming did have the potential to be a threat to the Son of God. Lu Ming's cultivation was still weak now, but in another 6 or 9 years, would he be able to defeat the Son of God? Could it be that the Son of God was not afraid at all? Such a thought emerged in many people's minds. The Son of God wore a cold expression as he said, You will never be my match. I have no match in the Tsangzhou continent. My opponents are outside of the Tsangzhou continent. The Son of God spoke with great confidence. Among his peers in the Tsangzhou continent, there was no one worthy of his attention. He had set his sights outside of the Tsangzhou continent to compete with the peerless geniuses outside of the Tsangzhou continent. Even the terrifying geniuses of the monarch forces were his match. Since you are so confident, I will challenge you now. In 3 years at the treasure sorting convention, we will fight to the death. Do you dare? Lu Ming said loudly, his voice echoing throughout the entire place. Lu Ming's voice was also filled with great confidence. He had also come this far by stepping over the bodies of countless geniuses. He was also confident that he was invincible. The Son of God had a better background. He had been cultivating in the Heavenly God sect of Yuanlu since he was young. The cultivation environment there was much better than Lu Ming's. Moreover, the Son of God was at least 7 or 8 years older than Lu Ming. Now the Son of God's cultivation was much higher than his, which was why he could look down on him from the sky. However, he was confident that in a few years, he would be able to catch up to the Son of God and stand in front of him as an equal. He would not be looked down upon like he was now. Chapter 1553. The deity stood in the air and looked down at Lu Ming. He did not change his mind because of Lu Ming's words. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Haha, what a joke. What kind of provocation is this? You are clearly afraid. Or rather, the celestial sect is afraid that I will grow stronger. So they sent you here to find a reason to kill me. Otherwise, why would they not even dare to accept my challenge? Lu Ming said, no matter how glib your tongue is, you will still die today. The deity shouted coldly. Holy light burst out and formed a holy light blade that illuminated the area. Roar! Zifeng let out a dragon's roar and charged at the deity. Get lost! The sage realm elder of Dragon God Valley roared. He wanted to help Zifeng, but he was blocked by the sage realm elders of the celestial sect. In addition, the elders of the Desire Poison sect were glaring at him. Let's go! Lu Ming sent a message to Tian Shui and Xuanixin and prepared to retreat. However, at this moment, the clouds in the sky surged and a foot appeared in the void. This foot was like the foot of a giant. It was huge and came down from the sky, stomping down on the deity. Who is it? The deity roared. Holy light burst out, and he slammed his palm into the sky, forming a holy light palm print that blasted towards the giant foot. However, when the palm print came into contact with the giant foot, it collapsed. The giant foot did not stop and continued to stomp on the deity. The deity roared, and a white jade pagoda appeared on his body. The white jade pagoda expanded and a vast sage realm aura burst out. Boom! The giant foot stomped on the white jade pagoda. The pagoda shook violently, and the light shield on the pagoda collapsed. Bam! The deity's body fell like a meteorite and crashed heavily on the fighting ring. A terrifying roar came from the fighting ring, and cracks appeared on it. One should know that the fighting ring was extremely hard. Lu Ming and the others had not been able to leave a mark on the fighting ring. But now, the fighting ring had cracked. The deity's face was pale, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. He struggled to get up, and his hair danced in the wind. He was filled with killing intent as he stared at the sky. A burly figure appeared in the sky and stepped down. The figure seemed to be in his 30s. He had a burly figure, and was emitting a vast aura. Third senior brother, it's third senior brother. Third senior brother is here. That's great. Tian Shui and Xuanixin shouted excitedly when they saw the man. Third senior brother? Lu Ming's heart stirred. His master, the valley master of the Cloud Dragon Valley, had a total of 9 true disciples. However, Lu Ming had only met his second senior brother, Long Yuanshan, Tian Shui, and Xuanixin. He had not met any of the other senior brothers and sisters. It was said that this third senior brother, Yang Tianzong, had broken through to the Saint Realm more than 10 years ago. He often went out to train. Who would have thought that he would appear here? 7th junior brother, 8th junior sister, long time no see. Yang Tian and Xuanixin nodded. They then looked at Lu Ming and said, this must be junior brother. You are indeed a dragon among men. Lu Ming greets third senior brother. Lu Ming cupped his fists at Yang Tianzong. Ha ha ha, there's no need to be so polite. Let's settle this first. Yang Tianzong laughed and looked at the deity. He sneered and said, you are very arrogant. Come, let me see what you can do. Boom. Yang Tianzong took a step forward, and a terrifying aura emanated from his body. It was the aura of a sage, the aura of a sage. The terrifying aura of a sage pressed down on the deity. At the same time, Yang Tianzong stretched out his hand, and a huge dragon claw appeared, grabbing at the deity. Whoosh! A terrifying demonic saber slashed out from the side. A combat sword made of poisonous gas pierced through the void, and collided with the dragon claw blocking it. At the same time, two elders appeared in front of Yang Tianzong. They were the Sage Realm Elders of the Desire Poison Sect, and the Sky Universe Demon Sect. This is a matter of the younger generation. Why are you a sage interfering? Let them settle it themselves. If you want to fight, I will accompany you. The Elder of the Sky Universe Demon Sect said coldly. The Elder of the Desire Poison Sect did not say anything, but his attitude said it all. His body was filled with poisonous gas that kept rolling. Two old men, I will deal with you first. Yang Tianzong's eyes turned cold as he roared like a dragon. Dragon scales appeared on his arms as he took a step forward and charged towards the Saint Realm Elders of the Desire Poison Sect and the Sky Universe Demon Sect. Kill! Kill! The Elders of the Desire Poison Sect and the Sky Universe Demon Sect shouted as they charged at Yang Tianzong with terrifying auras. Boom! 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 There were 5 to 6 explosions in the sky. Then the crowd saw two figures frantically retreating. Their bodies were trembling, and there was a claw mark on each of their bodies. Their bodies were almost pierced through, and their bodies were covered in blood. They had lost. The two Sage Realm Elders of the Desire Poison Sect and the Sky Universe Demon Sect had joined forces and attacked together. However, they had been defeated in just 5 to 6 moves. They had been injured by Yang Tianzong, and their clothes were stained with blood. The difference in their combat strength was too great. This time, I will spare your lives. Next time, I will kill you, Yang Tianzong said coldly. The two Sage Realm Elders of the Desire Poison Sect and the Sky Universe Demon Sect had ugly expressions on their faces. However, there was fear in their eyes. Chapter 1554. The Divine Sun will break through to the Saint Realm in 3 years. Many people were shocked. However, it was normal. The Divine Sun had been in the Sage-to-be realm for almost 10 years. With his talent, it would not be difficult for him to break through to the Saint Realm. Once he broke through to the Saint Realm, his status would be completely different. He would truly enter the upper echelons of the Zhangzhou state. At the same time, he would not be able to participate in the treasure sorting convention. No one else would have a chance if a sage-to-be participated in the treasure sorting convention. In other words, if Lu Ming wanted to challenge the Divine Sun, he would have to pass the treasure sorting convention. If he was killed at the treasure sorting convention, there would be no way to challenge him. In 3 years, Lu Ming won't stand a chance. Someone shook his head and sighed. That's right. He won't stand a chance. Others shook their heads. Lu Ming was only in the LV4 Martial Royal Realm. In 3 years, no matter how fast Lu Ming improved, it would be extremely fast for him to reach the LV8, or even the LV9 Martial Royal Realm. However, what was the use of reaching the LV8 or LV9 Martial Royal Realm? How could he fight with the Divine Sun? Even if the Divine Sun was still in the Sage-to-be realm, Lu Ming would not be his match. Once the Divine Sun broke through to the Saint Realm, Lu Ming would not stand a chance. It was not impossible for someone to become a sage-to-be before reaching the Saint Realm. Since ancient times, not many people have been able to do so. Every one of those people was a terrifying genius whose name shook the world. Then I'll let you live for 3 more years, the Divine Sun said coldly. Then, without saying anything else, he turned and left. He turned into a beam of saint light and disappeared. Let's go. The Saint Realm Elder of the Celestial God Sect shouted and left. The disciples of the Celestial God Sect hurriedly followed and left. After the people of the Celestial God Sect left, the people of the Sky Universe Demon Sect and the Poison Sect also left. Then the people of the other sects also left. Lu Ming, if there's a chance, let's fight again in the future. Luo Xiang from the Life and Death Sword Sect said loudly. Okay, let's fight another day. Lu Ming said. Goodbye. Luo Xiang cupped his fists and left. Thank you for your help, third senior brother. Lu Ming, Tian Shui, and Xuaningxing cupped their fists at Yang Tianzong. Haha, you and I are brothers, there's no need to be so courteous. This time, I just happened to pass by Tsang Mountain and wanted to take a look. I didn't expect to encounter something like this. Yang Tianzong laughed heartily. Third senior brother, youngest junior brother defeated and killed 10 prodigies with superior earthly spiritual bodies all by himself, and won first place in the treasure sorting party. Xuanning thought. Oh, amazing, amazing. Little junior brother is truly blessed by the heavens. It's still master who has good taste. Yang Tianzong's eyes lit up. He hadn't been here for long, so he didn't know that Lu Ming had won first place at the treasure ordering convention. Senior brother, you flatter me. After that, everyone chatted as they flew toward the Dragon God Valley. Among the crowd of Dragon God Valley, he used Silver City, and the others were filled with unwillingness. Damn it, even under such circumstances Lu Ming managed to escape. He cursed in his heart. Soon, everyone returned to the Dragon God Valley. Junior brother, junior sister, you've had a great battle. You should go back to your rooms to heal, Yang Tianzong said. Tian Chui and Xuanning nodded. They had been severely injured in the previous battle, and were far from recovering. Many of the other disciples of Dragon God Valley were also injured, and had returned to their rooms to heal. Everyone returned to their rooms. When Lu Ming returned to his room, he took out a pile of origin stones, and devoured them to recover his true origin. Half a day later, Lu Ming had fully recovered. At this moment, Lu Ming waved his hand, and a few storage rings appeared in his hand. He had obtained all of them from killing his opponents at the treasure sorting party. Lu Ming began to count them. When he was done, Lu Ming was overjoyed. This time he had gained a lot. One should know that the people he had killed were all prodigies, and were extremely wealthy. Needless to say, there were hundreds of millions of origin stones. There were also dozens of spiritual weapons of the emperor level. There were even as many as 6 sacred weapons. In particular, there were 3 sky-piercing flying shuttles. The 3 sky-piercing flying shuttles were found in the storage rings of the 3 top prodigies, Mo He and Wu Qiandu. It was really a case of searching high and low for something, only to find it by chance. Lu Ming had always wanted to buy a sky-piercing flying shuttle. He did not expect to obtain 3 at once. Lu Ming picked one, erased the mark of its original owner, and began to refine it. It was very easy to refine the sky-piercing flying shuttle. In less than a day Lu Ming had refined it. The sky-piercing flying shuttle floated above Lu Ming's palm, and changed its size according to Lu Ming's will. After playing with it for a while, Lu Ming put away the sky-piercing flying shuttle, and took out the flowing element gloves to refine it. In the blink of an eye, another 3 days had passed. In the past few days, news of what had happened at the Treasure Dingding convention had quickly spread throughout the Tsang Mountain. Furthermore, it had spread to the entire Tsang province at an extremely fast speed. Lu Ming's name shook everyone's heart. The most talked about in this competition was Lu Ming's name. He had defeated and killed 10 top prodigies all by himself and obtained first place. This was something that could improve both his origin energy and domain. Now Lu Ming's chaotic domain had also reached the peak of level 5. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, if he participated in the treasure banquet, he could easily defeat a genius like Mo He. There was no need for him to use the primal chaos flipping sky seal. The treasure auction has already begun, right? Lu Ming's heart thumped. Then, he shook his head with a smile, and closed his eyes to consolidate his cultivation base. In the blink of an eye, another day had passed. Late at night, in the vast mountains, Lu Ming's space-piercing flying shuttle flashed across the sky like a meteor. Boom! Lu Ming was cultivating when the space-piercing flying shuttle suddenly shook violently. Someone is attacking the space-piercing flying shuttle. Lu Ming suddenly opened his eyes, and looked outside through the crystal glass of the space-piercing flying shuttle. Above the pitch-black clouds, a few large hands came down from the sky and heavily bombarded the space-piercing flying shuttle. Rumble! The space-piercing flying shuttle shook violently, as if it was about to explode. Then, a large hand grabbed the 100-meter-long space-piercing flying shuttle, and smashed it into a nearby mountain. Boom! The mountain shook and shattered, sending debris flying everywhere. Damn it! Lu Ming's eyes were cold. His body moved, and he rushed out of the space-piercing flying shuttle. The space-piercing flying shuttle shrank rapidly, and was put away by Lu Ming. In the pitch-black night sky, a dozen black figures appeared and surrounded Lu Ming. Kill! Without any superfluous words, one of them said coldly. Whoosh! 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 More than a dozen terrifying sword lights stabbed toward Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. 7th layer Martial Royal Realm. All of them are experts above the 7th layer Martial Royal Realm. There are even some 8th layer Martial Royal Realm experts. Lu Ming's eyes widened. These people were all experts. None of them were below the 7th layer Martial Royal Realm. They were all high-level Martial Royal Realm experts. Without any hesitation, the black feather wings appeared. With a flap, Lu Ming soared into the sky. Whoosh! Whoosh! A few terrifying sword lights suddenly appeared above his head. 8th layer Martial Royal Realm. The people who appeared above his head were all 8th layer Martial Royal Realm experts. Who is it? Countless thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Who wants to kill me? He had only told Tian Shui when he came out, but Tian Shui would not betray him. It was very likely that someone had been watching Lu Ming. As soon as Lu Ming came out of the Tsang Mountain, he had been targeted. The reason why they had only attacked now was that they were waiting for Lu Ming to lower his guard. They had also confirmed that there were no experts following Lu Ming, and that Lu Ming was alone. Kill! Lu Ming roared. Another spear thrust out, and that person spat out mouthfuls of blood. His arm was broken. Whoosh! In the end, Lu Ming threw the black dragon spear out. The black dragon spear pierced through the air like a black lightning bolt. It contained the terrifying power of the 13th strike and suddenly exploded, piercing through the 9th layer Martial Dominator. A terrifying force vibrated, and the 9th layer Martial Dominator's body exploded. Lu Ming suddenly turned around and threw a punch at one of the 9th layer Martial Dominators. The flowing element gloves appeared, and he poured his true yuan into them. The flowing element gloves rapidly became heavier. Boom! This punch contained the power of the chaotic realm and the hell-suppressing skill. It was terrifyingly powerful and could destroy anything. When the fists collided with the opponent's battle sword, the Emperor's battle sword was unable to withstand the force and exploded. The terrifying fist energy bombarded the body of the cultivator of the 9th Emperor realm. He screamed in agony as his body was pierced through and exploded. In an instant, 2 9th layer Martial Dominators were killed. His sacred weapon is too powerful. Some people were astounded. Even the 9th layer Martial Dominators were killed. Back off and kill him with your sacred weapons. Someone in the sky said coldly. A few 9th layer Martial Dominators backed off, but a few others stepped forward. Their auras were also 9th layer Martial Dominators. There were too many experts. There were more than 10 9th layer Martial Dominators. Furthermore, the 9th layer Martial Dominators were even more terrifying, as they all had sacred weapons. One of them had a blood-red pagoda floating above his head, emitting a terrifying aura. Another person held a battle blade in his hand. That battle blade was also a holy armament. The third person held an iron rod, which was also a sacred weapon. The fourth person had a mountain floating above his head, which was also a sacred weapon. The 4 9th layer Martial Dominators controlled 4 sacred weapons to seal off the area. Attack! The person in the sky gave the order. Kill! Chapter 1557. The power of a 9th layer Martial Dominator, controlling a sacred weapon, was too terrifying. Lu Ming did not dare to face the attack head-on, as he continued to dodge the saber glow. While dispersing light, that person spat out this sentence coldly. That saber gleam actually split apart all of a sudden, biting Lu Ming's body tightly. No matter how fast Lu Ming was, he actually could not avoid that saber gleam. It's really the intentionless saber art. You guys are from the intentionless saber sect. Lu Ming let out a furious roar. He had seen the geniuses of the intentionless saber sect using the intentionless saber art at the treasure pedestal meeting. The person's eyes were cold and emitted a strong murderous intent, as the saber glow did not stop. Dang! Lu Ming blocked the attack with the sacred weapon shield and the black feather wings, but after being struck by the saber glow, His body shuddered violently and was sent flying like a cannonball. Puff! In the process of being sent flying, Lu Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. The power of a ninth-layer martial dominator controlling a sacred weapon was too shocking. Even with the protection of the sacred weapon, Lu Ming was still injured. Bang! Above him, a strong gust of wind was blowing, as a terrifying pressure pressed down on Lu Ming. A pitch-black mountain was pressing down on Lu Ming. Another expert made his move, also aiming a sacred weapon at Lu Ming. Bang! Lu Ming channeled his true energy into the flowing force gloves as he executed the heavenly art of suppressing hell and threw a punch at the small mountain. Bang! A shocking explosion took place as the small mountain was sent flying by Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's body fell to the ground like a meteorite. Puff! Lu Ming spat out another mouthful of blood as his arm trembled slightly. Bang! An iron rod, which was thousands of meters long, swept toward Lu Ming like a pillar that could hold up the sky. Lu Ming used the black wings to protect his body. With a boom, Lu Ming was sent flying. He crashed into a huge mountain, causing it to crack. The ninth-layer martial dominator realm was the peak of the martial dominator realm, granting him a terrifying strength. Previously, Lu Ming had managed to kill the two cultivators at lightning speed with the help of his sacred weapon, but it did not mean that a ninth-layer martial dominator realm cultivator was weak. On top of that, there were 4 ninth-layer martial dominators controlling the sacred weapons. Their combined strength was even more terrifying. Lu Ming was no match for them at all. Bubbles, let's go! Lu Ming called out Bubbles. Under such circumstances, the only way out was to retreat. It was unwise to fight head-on. As for Ming Lian's second body, Lu Ming had no intention of calling him out. Given the cultivation of Ming Lian's second body, and the fact that he didn't have a saint artifact to protect him, he would only be killed if he called out. Chirp chirp! The bubble cried out, and opened up a space-time tunnel. Lu Ming and Bai Yunfei rushed in. However, at the next moment, Lu Ming seemed to have knocked into a wall, and his body was blocked. The space-time tunnel had lost its effect. Buzz! Inscriptions appeared in all directions. Over 10 black-robed cultivators stood in different directions. Each of them had a formation disc floating above their heads, sealing off the space. Such a meticulous plan. Lu Ming's heart turned cold. It was obvious that the enemy was serious about killing them, as they had taken all of Lu Ming's trump cards into consideration. They also knew that Lu Ming had Bubbles with him, allowing him to escape using the space-time tunnel. The enemy had already set up a space-sealing formation to seal off the space. Even Bubbles would not be able to escape. It was not that Bubbles' space-time domain was not powerful enough, but that Bubbles' cultivation was too low, while the enemy's cultivation was too high. Bubbles had no chance of escaping with the help of the formation. Take down the space-time spirit mouse. The black-robed cultivator in the sky spoke once again. Buzz! 12 black-robed cultivators stepped forward with formation discs floating above their heads. They sealed off the space and surrounded Bubbles. Boom! At this moment, a huge pagoda came crashing down on Lu Ming. The attacks of the 4 experts arrived again. Flapping his black wings, Lu Ming dashed forward at lightning speed, not wanting to collide with the huge pagoda. However, what greeted him was a terrifying saber light. The 4 experts controlled their sacred weapons and attacked together, not giving Lu Ming any chance to catch his breath. There was no way to avoid it. Lu Ming threw a punch. The shadow of the prison-suppressing monument was faintly discernible. Boom! The fist collided with the saber light. Lu Ming destroyed the saber light, but his body was also sent flying. The 12 black-robe cultivators sealed off the space and surrounded Lu Ming, trying to suppress Lu Ming in the space. Fight! A fierce look flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. The third bloodline continuously poured energy into Lu Ming's body. Not enough, more. Lu Ming roared in his heart, madly borrowing the power of the third bloodline. The power in the third bloodline seemed to be endless. As the power crazily poured in, Lu Ming's body exploded with a terrifying killing intent. Lu Ming's eyes turned blood red, and so did his hair. It was as if he was bleeding. At this moment, the huge pagoda came crashing down. Get lost! Lu Ming punched out. Dong! A terrifying sound was heard, and the sky trembled. The huge pagoda was sent flying by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body trembled, and he stepped on the void, retreating more than 10 steps. However, he still managed to block it, unlike before when he was sent flying and vomited blood. Boom! The black-robed man was obviously a half-saint who had mastered the Dharma. He was extremely powerful. There were strong and weak half-saints. A half-saint who had mastered the power of the Dharma was absolutely terrifying. The sword light approached Lu Ming in an instant. Chirp, 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 chirp. A transparent bubble suddenly appeared above the black-robed half-saint and enveloped him. However, the black-robed man's body was almost unaffected. The sword light burst out and directly broke the transparent bubble. Space-time spiritual mouse, controlling time and space. It's really mysterious. Unfortunately, it's too weak. The black-robed half-saint said in a hoarse voice. 2 black beams of light shot out from his eyes and pierced Lu Ming. Whoosh! Whoosh! 2 black beams of light also shot out from Lu Ming's eyes. They used the holy sword skill at the same time. After the black beams of light collided, the black-robed half-saint directly defeated Lu Ming's. The sword light did not stop and continued to attack Lu Ming. The black-robed man was a half-saint who also practiced the holy sword skill. His soul power was stronger than that of an ordinary half-saint. Even though Lu Ming's soul power was dozens of times stronger than that of a martial artist at the same level, he was still weaker than the black-robed man. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The black-robed man swung his sword and shattered the chirp. Chirp, 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 chirp. Break. Chapter 1559. The black-robed half-saint slashed Bubbles' body with his sword. Bubbles' body shattered like glass. It was a spatial afterimage. Bubbles' real body had appeared on the other side of the black-robed half-saint. With a wave of his claws, the space-time domain enveloped the opponent. On the other side, Lu Ming's black feather wings flapped and slashed towards the black-robed half-saint like 2 blades. At the same time, his genuine vitality rushed into the flowing energy gloves and punched his opponent. Whoosh! Whoosh! Facing the joint attack of Lu Ming and Bubble, the black-robed half-saint's face did not change at all. His sword radiance bloomed and he slashed twice. The first slash broke Bubble's space-time domain. The second slash blocked the attack of the black feather wings and hit Lu Ming's fist. Boom! Lu Ming's fist seemed to have hit a terrible force. Lu Ming's body shook violently, and he was sent flying. At the same time, a strong force passed through the flowing energy gloves and blasted into Lu Ming's body, causing Lu Ming to spurt blood. The power of the Dharma. Lu Ming was shocked. The power of the Dharma was too strong. The Dharma was the foundation of heaven and earth. A world was made up of different Dharma. Its power was far stronger than a domain. No matter how mysterious Lu Ming's chaotic domain was, it was still a domain. It could not withstand the erosion of the Dharma. Unless in the future, Lu Ming could transform the chaotic domain into the chaotic law. Then it could suppress other Dharma. Chirp chirp, Bubble screamed and performed the space-time domain. His body flashed around the black-robed half-saint, and he attacked continuously. The black-robed half-saint could not attack him at all. Get lost! At this time, the black-robed half-saint seemed to be really angry with Bubble. He shouted coldly, and a terrible aura burst out from his body. A terrifying true essence, like a black demonic flame, was burning fiercely, bombarding in all directions. The black-robed half-saint burst out his strong genuine vitality, and crushed it in all directions. As such, Bubble was unable to dodge, and was sent flying by the surge of true essence. Suppress him, the black-robed half-saint's cold voice sounded. Buzz! The 12 black-robed men controlled the formation plate, and suppressed the bubble, sealing the void. Boom! The black-robed half-saint used his powerful vital essence to blast the bubble into that area. The 12 black-robed men controlled the formation plate, and sealed off the area, trapping the bubble in the void. Chirp chirp! Bubble screamed, and used the space-time domain, wanting to rush out. However, the void seemed to have turned into an iron wall. It was completely sealed and Bubble couldn't rush out at all. Let him go! Lu Ming roared and flapped his black wings, rushing towards the 12 black-clothed men. Kill! The black-robed half-saint slashed horizontally with his sword. The sword radiance was thousands of meters long. It hit Lu Ming and sent Lu Ming flying. Today none of you will leave. This place will be your burial ground, the black-robed half-saint said coldly. He took a step forward and became one with the holy weapon. He turned into a beam of brilliant sword light and stabbed toward Lu Ming's glabella. Fast, too fast. It was so fast that Lu Ming couldn't react in time. Moreover, a terrifying force locked onto Lu Ming, causing Lu Ming's muscles to tremble slightly. Whoosh! In an instant, the sword radiance approached. The terrifying sharpness pierced Lu Ming's glabella, causing pain. Roar! At the critical moment, Lu Ming roared. He reached forward with his right hand and grabbed the blade of the black-robed half-saint's holy weapon. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The holy weapon rubbed against the flowing element glove, making ear-piercing sounds and sparks. Although Lu Ming had grabbed hold of the sacred weapon battle sword, he was still pushing it forward slowly. With your cultivation, don't even think about grabbing my sword. Kill! The black-robed half-saint roared. His vital essence exploded, and the holy weapon became stronger. It pushed Lu Ming back. Boom! After retreating for a while, Lu Ming crashed into a mountain. The entire mountain shook violently and almost exploded. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The sound of the sword rubbing against the glove became louder and louder. The sword was slowly approaching Lu Ming's glabella. Bang! Lu Ming's left hand was covered with dragon scales. It turned into a dragon claw and grabbed the blade, preventing it from moving forward. If this sword pierced through his glabella, the terrifying destructive power would erupt, and he would definitely die. However, Lu Ming's left hand didn't have the flowing element glove. The blade of the holy weapon was so sharp that it directly cut through the chaotic field and vital essence covering his hand. It cut through the dragon scales on his hand. Lu Ming's hand was bleeding. His entire hand was almost cut off. Roar! Lu Ming ignored the pain and tried his best to stop the sword. You can't stop it. The black-robed half-saint kept urging his power. The force of the sword was getting stronger and stronger. Buzz, buzz. On the other side, the 12 black-robed men sealed the void. The range was getting smaller and smaller. Bubble had nowhere to run and was about to be caught. Power, I need power, great power. At this moment, Lu Ming roared in his heart. His power was too weak. In the vast Yuan continent, his power was too weak. A martial emperor was like an ant. He desperately needed great power. He ignored the consequences and used the power of the third bloodline. If you want power, I'll give it to you. At this moment, a vast, deep and ethereal voice sounded from the third bloodline. Boom! When the voice sounded, Lu Ming felt an explosion in his head. Then his consciousness seemed to have entered the third bloodline. Chapter 1560. Kill! 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 Lu Ming roared. He had completely lost his mind. There was only one thing in his mind, which was to kill everyone, kill all the living creatures in the world. Swoosh! Lu Ming threw out the holy weapon in his hand. The holy weapon whistled and tore through the void. It was so fast that a LV8 martial royal realm expert was pierced by the holy weapon and died on the spot. Swoosh! The black wings were covered with a layer of blood-red light, which made them even more powerful. With one flap, Lu Ming appeared in front of the black-robed half-saint and clawed at him. The black-robed half-saint's pupils contracted, and he quickly retreated. However, he soon found that it was useless. Lu Ming's claw was faster than his retreating speed. It clawed at his body. Puff! Then, Lu Ming's other claw also clawed at his body. The half-saint's holy weapon armor was as fragile as paper. No! The black-robed half-saint screamed in horror. In the next moment, Lu Ming roared and tore the body of the black-robed half-saint into pieces. His spiritual spirit flew out in horror and was crushed into ashes by Lu Ming's foot. A half-saint who had comprehended the law was torn apart and killed by Lu Ming. Kill! Kill! Lu Ming roared. After killing one person, Lu Ming's killing intent became even stronger. Swoosh! With a flap of the black wings, Lu Ming rushed toward the 12 black-robed men who were imprisoning the bubble. Imprison him! One of the black-robed men roared and tried to control the disc to imprison Lu Ming. Swoosh! Lu Ming's claw tore the space apart. The space shook, but it could not imprison Lu Ming at all. In a flash, one of the black-robed men was killed. After one of the black-robed men was killed, the formation that imprisoned the space was broken. The bubble seized the opportunity and flew out. Kill! Kill! Lu Ming roared continuously, and his black wings flapped wildly. Uft. The other men in black were killed by Lu Ming one by one. They did not even have the chance to escape. Chirp chirp! The bubble flew toward Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming grabbed at the bubble, as if he did not know the bubble. The bubble hurriedly used the space-time domain, and retreated to avoid Lu Ming's attack. Chirp chirp chirp! Bubbles looked at Lu Ming from afar. There was a look of anxiety in her big black eyes. Roar! Lu Ming let out a beast-like roar and charged toward the others. Not good. Run! When the rest of the people saw that Lu Ming had easily killed the half-sages, they did not dare to fight back. But at this moment, Lu Ming's body was filled with boundless power. The black wings were strengthened by this power. The power of the sacred weapon seemed to have been completely stimulated, and its speed was terrifying. Lu Ming's body flashed and appeared behind the 9th-layer martial royal realm expert, who was controlling the sacred weapon iron rod. Go to hell! The black-robed man was terrified. He waved the sacred weapon iron rod in his hand and swept it toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming punched out, and the sacred weapon iron rod was sent flying. The terrifying power flowed through the iron rod and into the black-robed man's hand, causing the black-robed man's palm to explode. Then Lu Ming's body flashed. The black-robed man could not fight back, and was torn apart by Lu Ming. Then, Lu Ming's body flashed and charged toward another black-robed man. With a wave of his hand, the black-robed man was killed. Then, Lu Ming's body flashed continuously. Hunting and killing took place in the void. Lu Ming killed each black-robed man with one move. Screams echoed in the night sky. There were dozens of black-robed men, all of whom were above the 7th-layer martial royal realm. They fled in all directions. Lu Ming was like a demon, chasing them everywhere. Half an hour later, Lu Ming caught up with the last black-robed man hundreds of thousands of miles away, and killed him. This time, all the black-robed men who had come to kill Lu Ming were killed. After killing so many black-robed men, Lu Ming's killing intent did not weaken at all. Instead, it became even stronger. The cold killing intent made people shudder. Kill, kill, kill! Lu Ming roared. His heart was filled with endless killing intent. He wanted to kill everyone in the world. Chirp, chirp! Bubbles appeared not far away. She looked at Lu Ming with worry and fear, not daring to get close. Whoosh! Lu Ming suddenly looked at Bubbles. He flapped his black wings and charged toward Bubbles. Bubbles was shocked. She hurriedly used the space-time domain and retreated quickly. Lu Ming continued to chase, but after a while, he realized that he could not catch up with Bubbles. He roared and flew into the distance. Bubbles' body flashed. She swallowed the black-robed men's holy weapons and storage rings one by one. Then, she followed Lu Ming from afar worried. Below his feet were boundless mountains. Lu Ming flew at high speed, like a demon cutting through the night sky. In the forest below, some wild beasts and demonic beasts trembled when Lu Ming's murderous intent swept past them. They hid in their respective cave abodes, feeling extremely terrified. Lu Ming's blood-red eyes glanced at the forest below. He did not stop and continued to fly. It seemed that the beasts and monsters below were too weak for him to kill. Boundless mountains flashed past under his feet. A huge castle appeared in front of him. It was built on a towering mountain. There were guards around the castle. Roar! Seeing the castle, Lu Ming let out a loud roar that echoed in the night sky. Who's there? The guards of the castle immediately discovered Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming let out a roar and flapped his wings, dashing toward the castle. This is the Lu clan castle. Stop! The guard let out a roar, but was killed by Lu Ming in the next moment. Lu Ming dashed past the guards, leaving more than 10 corpses on the ground. At this moment, a gentle-looking old man suddenly appeared in the sky above the forest. This old man was Lu Ming's master, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Minger, at the sight of Lu Ming, even the Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley was shocked. What kind of power is this? Bloodline? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master frowned. Chirp chirp. At this moment, Bubble appeared not far away from the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. It waved its little claws and cried out, gesturing nonstop. Spacetime Spirit Mouse. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's eyes revealed a trace of shock again. He whispered, Ming'er is really lucky. Even the Spacetime Spirit Mouse is by his side. However, the more lucky one is, the more difficult it will be. After saying that, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master looked at Bubble and said, Don't worry, I won't let anything happen to Ming'er. After saying that, he took a step forward and headed towards Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming also noticed the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. His eyes were filled with shocking killing intent. He roared and charged towards the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. The black feather wings flapped, bringing with it a violent wind as it slashed towards the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. The Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley had a gentle expression on his face. He used his fingers like a sword and pointed slightly. A sword aura appeared and slashed the black wings. The black wings were blocked. However, Lu Ming roared and threw a punch at the Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley. Ming'er, wake up! The Cloud Dragon Valley Master roared, and the sound waves surged towards Lu Ming. Boom! Lu Ming felt like he was struck by lightning. His body was sent flying, and he felt his head buzzing. I'll give you power. At this moment, the voice of the third bloodline sounded in Lu Ming's mind again. An even stronger power surged into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body became even more ferocious and filled with endless killing intent. Bam! Lu Ming took a step in the air and charged towards the Cloud Dragon Valley Master in a frenzy. The power of the bloodline. What kind of bloodline is this? Why is it so strange? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master frowned and pressed down with one hand. A huge palm appeared in the air and pressed down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming roared, and a bloody light burst out from his body as he charged towards the huge palm. Boom! Lu Ming was pressed down by the huge palm, and his body was sent flying. He smashed into the ground and created a huge crater. That giant hand trembled for a moment before collapsing. What a strong power! The Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley muttered, and the vital essence in his body surged. Between heaven and earth, an extremely mysterious force was controlled by the Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley. Once again, it formed a huge claw and grabbed toward Lu Ming. It was the power of the laws. This time, the huge claw contained the power of the laws. Roar! Chapter 1562. Lu Ming roared as blood spurted out, shattering the layer of ice. However, more layers of ice covered Lu Ming's body. Gradually, the layer of ice on Lu Ming's body became thicker and thicker. In the end, it turned into a huge block of ice, sealing Lu Ming inside. Lu Ming's body was sealed in ice, and he could not move at all. The terrifying cold air constantly seeped into his body and mind. It was as if it wanted to freeze his murderous aura. Then, Valley Master Yin Long waved his hand, and a bead flew out, floating above Lu Ming's head. Endless chill seeped into the block of ice and strengthened it. Chirp chirp. Bubble chirped as it flew near the block of ice with a worried and concerned face. All right, I have suppressed Ming'er's killing intent with my sacred weapon. I will bring him back to the Divine Dragon Valley and place him in the 10,000 years Ice Jade. I will use the chill of the Ice Jade to erase Ming'er's killing intent. Little guy, follow me back to the Divine Dragon Valley. Valley Master Yin Long said. Bubble nodded and landed on Valley Master Yin Long's shoulder. Valley Master Yin Long waved his hand and kept the block of ice that sealed Lu Ming. He then took a step forward and left the place. Not long after, Valley Master Yin Long returned to the Divine Dragon Valley and placed Lu Ming in the 10,000 years Ice Jade. He used the Ice Jade's chill to erase the chill on Lu Ming's body. Time flew by and the days passed. Not long after, the treasure sorting assembly ended, and the news of the treasure sorting assembly spread throughout the Tsang state. This time, the Heavenly God sect was still the strongest and took the first place. The two ancient treasures were still in the Heavenly God sect's custody. The Heavenly God sect displayed even more terrifying strength in this treasure sorting assembly. The God's Son, ranked first among the top 10 monstrous talents, continued to take the first place and suppressed the other monstrous talents. He stood at the peak of the younger generation in the Tsang state and was unrivaled. The most shocking thing was that a new supreme talent had appeared in the heavenly god sect. He was terrifyingly strong, and was only second to the god's son. He took the second place in this assembly. Since then, the top 10 monstrous talents in the Tsang state were reshuffled, and the heavenly god sect took the first 2 places. The news of Lu Ming challenging the god's son 3 years later was pushed to the forefront. There was news that after the god's son, the god sect's son, given the deity's talent, and the fact that he had been a half-saint for so many years, it would not be too difficult for him to break through to the saint realm. 3 years later, in the face of the Son of God who had reached the saint realm, what did Lu Ming have to compete with him? Many people even said that it was impossible for Lu Ming to compete with the Son of God. This was because if he were to participate in the treasure pedestal meeting, he would most likely be killed by the demon, who was ranked second in the celestial sect. However, the Dragon God Valley had suffered a great loss in this treasure ranking meeting. Many powerful geniuses had been killed by the celestial god sect. Even Zifeng, one of the top 10 geniuses, had returned with serious injuries. Of course, Lu Ming was unaware of all these. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. Lu Ming had been frozen in the 10,000-year-old ice jade for half a year. On this day, a cracking sound could be heard from the 10,000-year-old ice jade. In the end, it cracked completely. Lu Ming opened his eyes after half a year. There was still a hint of murderous intent in his eyes, but it disappeared in a flash. Lu Ming withdrew it. Where am I? Lu Ming looked around. He found that he was in an underground ice cellar. There were ice cubes everywhere. There was a trace of confusion in his eyes. He only remembered that when he was attacked by the evil spirit sect, he had no choice but to borrow the power of the third bloodline. In the end, he was drowned by endless murderous intent and completely lost his mind. Later, because of a little girl, he regained a bit of his mind and rushed into a forest. He couldn't remember what happened after that. What happened after that? Ming-er, you're awake. At this time, a gentle voice sounded. An elder walked over. Master. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The elder who came was his master, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Master, were you the one who saved me? Lu Ming got up and bowed to the Cloud Dragon Valley Master as he asked curiously. I've left a mark on each of you, so I'll be able to sense your location within a certain range. Luckily, your location wasn't too far away from the Dragon God Valley, so I immediately rushed over as soon as I sensed it. If I was too far away, the consequences would be unimaginable. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Lu Ming had a lingering fear. Indeed, if the Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley had not saved him, he would have been reduced to a killing machine from then on. In the end, he would have been besieged and killed by other powerful figures. Chirp chirp, at this time a cry sounded. A white light rushed out from the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's shoulder and flew into Lu Ming's arms. It was Bubbles. At this time, Bubbles was curled up in Lu Ming's arms. Its furry body rubbed against Lu Ming's body. Bubbles. Lu Ming stroked Bubbles' soft fur, feeling very apologetic. Back then, he must have done something to Bubbles. Master, how long have I been asleep? Lu Ming asked. Half a year. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Half a year. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He didn't expect that he would be asleep for half a year. My cultivation level. Chapter 1563. Lu Ming nodded. The third bloodline was simply too strange. He felt a lingering fear in his heart. In the third bloodline, the endless sea of blood, and the huge face above the sea of blood. What exactly was that? How could there be such a strange bloodline in the world? It was completely different from the other bloodlines. Other bloodlines could not contain such terrifying power. Moreover, it seemed to have its own will. Ming-er, although I sealed you in the 10,000-year ice jade, and used it to erase your killing intent, some killing intent has already seeped into the depths of your heart and soul. This is also a potential danger. In the future, you might be affected by this hidden killing intent and slowly change your personality, becoming a bloodthirsty person. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Master, what should I do? Lu Ming asked. Go out and train. Walk in nature and train your heart. Use the chi of heaven and earth to erase the killing intent in the depths of your soul. Only then will you be able to get rid of the influence of the killing intent. It will also be of great help to your cultivation in the future. To become a sage, you need to control the laws. The laws are also in nature. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Yes, Master. Lu Ming nodded. Go out and train for a year. After a year, return to the Cloud Dragon Valley, and I will send you to a place. That place may be of greater help to you when you defeat the Divine Prince 2.5 years later. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Obviously, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master already knew that Lu Ming had challenged the Divine Prince. Master, where is that place? Lu Ming was curious. It's a place filled with endless dangers, but it's also a place filled with endless opportunities. Before you go there, you must eliminate the killing intent in the depths of your spiritual deity. Otherwise, once you enter that place, it's very likely that you'll be affected by the killing intent and become a bloodthirsty person. When you return in a year, you'll naturally know. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Lu Ming had no choice but to give up. By the way, Master, there seems to be an expert from the intentionless saber sect among the people of the evil spirit sect. Lu Ming suddenly said. Thoughtless saber sect. It looks like some sects have already been infiltrated by the evil spirit sect. Ming-er, I will discuss this with the Valley Master and the other sect masters. You don't have to worry too much. Alright, go out. Old 7, Old 8, I've been waiting for you for a long time. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master frowned then smiled. Lu Ming nodded. That was related to the top sects of the Tsang state. With his current strength, he could only reveal the information. He couldn't do anything else. He believed that those sect masters would be more concerned about the evil spirit sect infiltrating the top sects of the Tsang state. There was no need for him to worry. Senior brother Tian Shui and senior sister Shui? Afterward, Lu Ming revealed a smile on his face. He followed the Cloud Dragon Valley Master out of the ice cellar and into a glacial valley. This was still a part of the Cloud Dragon Valley. Two figures were waiting outside. They were Tian Shui and Xuanixin. Little junior brother, you're finally awake. It's great that you're fine. Little junior brother, you slept for half a year. When Tian Shui and Xuanixin saw Lu Ming, they smiled. 7th senior brother, 8th senior sister, long time no see. Lu Ming also smiled. Then he looked around and said, Congratulations, senior brother and senior sister. You've broken through to the 7th stage martial emperor. In half a year, Tian Shui and Xuanixin's cultivation had improved greatly. They had reached the 7th stage martial emperor and entered the ranks of the high-level martial emperors. If we don't hurry up, junior brother will catch up with us. Tian Shui laughed and said, You guys chat first. Ming. If you go out, you don't have to report to me. Just come back in a year. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said, and took a step forward. His figure disappeared. Little junior brother, let's go. We haven't seen each other for half a year. Let's go and have a few drinks. Tian Shui grinned. Okay. Lu Ming agreed happily. The three of them went to Tian Shui's cave abode. Tian Shui took out more than 10 jars of wine. Xuanixin was very generous. She picked up a jar and drank it in one go. Junior sister, drink slower. I don't have that much wine for you to drink like that. Tian Shui said eagerly. Stingy. Xuanixin glanced at Tian Shui with disdain. Tian Shui's face turned bitter. Lu Ming laughed and picked up a jar of wine. The three of them drank to their heart's content. After 3 rounds of wine, Lu Ming said goodbye to Tian Shui and Xuanixin and strode out of the Cloud Dragon Valley. After a while, a beam of light cut across the void. Lu Ming stepped on the air and left the Divine Dragon Valley. Lu Ming did not take the sky-piercing flying shuttle because it was meaningless. Lu Ming did not have a goal for this trip. Just like what the Cloud Dragon Valley Master said, he wanted to walk in nature and use the chi of heaven and earth to eliminate the killing intent in the depths of his soul. Chirp chirp, in Lu Ming's arms Bubbles cried. Then, she opened her mouth, and a long spear flew out from her mouth. Black Dragon Spear. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Back then, when he was surrounded by many evil spirit sect experts, Lu Ming had thrown out the Black Dragon Spear and killed one of them. Later, He did not have time to retrieve it. It turned out that Bubbles had kept it. Lu Ming grabbed the black dragon spear in his hand and kept it in his sea of consciousness. Thank you, Bubbles. Lu Ming patted Bubbles' furry little head. Bubbles cried softly and revealed a comfortable expression. Chapter 1564. Back then, Lu Ming was completely overwhelmed by the murderous intent. He lost his self-awareness and fell into a frenzy of killing. Later, he showed a trace of clarity because of a little girl and stopped killing. But it was too late. At that time, many people in this castle had died in his hands. It was also because he had regained a trace of consciousness that he had some impression of this castle. Since I'm here, let's pay our respects. Lu Ming sighed softly. The people in this castle had no enmity with him, but he had killed many of them. Lu Ming felt guilty. Lu Ming had always been a person who distinguished between kindness and hatred. He would repay kindness with kindness. He would never kill the innocent. The people he killed were all people who had enmity with him or wanted to kill him. If not for the endless murderous intent, Lu Ming would not have done so. At the thought of this, Lu Ming stepped forward. Who's there? This is the Lu family castle, please wait. As he approached the castle, a few burly men flew out and blocked Lu Ming. They looked at Lu Ming cautiously. Lu family castle? They have the same surname as me. Lu Ming clasped his fists and said, I'm Lu Ming, a disciple of the Dragon God Valley. I heard that the Lu family castle was attacked half a year ago, and many people died. I'm here to pay my respects. You're a disciple of the Dragon God Valley? The burly men's faces changed. That's right, this is my identity token. Lu Ming took out the Dragon God Valley's identity token and handed it to the man. The man took a look and his face softened. So you're a disciple of the Dragon God Valley. Sorry for the disrespect. This place was not very far from the Dragon God Valley. Small factions like them were still very respectful to a large faction like the Dragon God Valley. My ancestor was once on good terms with the Lu family castle. I heard that the Lu family castle was attacked, so I'm here to pay my respects. Lu Ming repeated. Yes. Half a year ago, the Lu clan fort was suddenly attacked by a devil and suffered heavy casualties. I don't know if that devil was sent by our Lu clan fort's enemy. Sigh, young master, please follow me. One of the burly men sighed and made a please gesture before walking forward. Lu Ming felt helpless in his heart. The demon that the other party was talking about was naturally him. Following the burly man, Zhang Xian flew for a short distance before arriving at the back of the castle. There were many tombstones erected here. Half a year ago, more than 100 people died and were all buried here. The burly man said. Lu Ming looked at the tombstones, then clasped his hands and bowed deeply. Although Lu Ming had no choice back then, it was Lu Ming's fault after all. From now on, the matters of the Lu clan fort are Lu Ming's matters. Lu Ming muttered in his heart. Big brother, is that you? Suddenly, a clear and tender voice sounded. Lu Ming turned around and his heart skipped a beat. A young woman stood not far away with a little girl of 6 or 7 years old. The little girl was looking at Lu Ming with her big black eyes. This little girl was the little girl who made Lu Ming regain a trace of clarity in the midst of the massacre. The young woman was the little girl's mother. Big brother. The little girl called again. There was a hint of fear in her big eyes. But more than that, there was curiosity. This little girl recognized me. Lu Ming was shocked. He felt that it was a little unbelievable. Half a year ago, when the third bloodline power entered his body, Lu Ming's appearance was thousands of miles away from now. At that time, his eyes were blood red, his hair was blood red, and his body was covered in bone spikes like a devil. Even his aura was absolutely different. Even a martial arts expert would not be able to recognize Lu Ming. This little girl did not seem to have started cultivating. How did she recognize him? Xiang, do you know this big brother? The little girl's mother asked. The little girl nodded and did not say anything else. Young madam, this is a disciple of the Dragon God Valley. His ancestor used to be friends with the Lu clan. He came to pay his respects after hearing the bad news. The bulky man explained. So it's a disciple of the Dragon God Valley. Thank you for coming. The young woman bowed to Lu Ming. You're welcome. Lu Ming brought his fists together in return. He then looked at the little girl and said, "What's your name?" "I'm Xiang Lu." The fear in the little girl's eyes slowly faded. She looked at Lu Ming curiously. Xiang, good name," Lu Ming said. At this moment, his eyes emitted a strange glow as he observed the little girl. He was very curious about this little girl. How did she recognize him? Also back then, this little girl was able to restore a trace of clarity from his killing. It was definitely not because she was young. Lu Ming felt compassion for her. Back then, he had completely lost his mind and had no compassion. All he had was to kill. There must be another reason. Right now, Lu Ming was casting a secret skill. This secret technique was obtained from the memory fragments of the 9 dragons. When this secret technique was used, it could roughly see through a person's constitution and check a person's talent. Of course, that was under the condition that the other party did not resist at all with their ethereal force. In Lu Ming's eyes, Xiang had changed. She seemed to have turned into a ball of light, a ball of dazzling radiance that seemed to be filled with endless vitality. What a strange constitution! What a shocking constitution! After a while, Lu Ming withdrew the secret technique. His eyes were filled with surprise. A peerless genius. This little girl was simply a peerless genius. She was more of a genius than any of the geniuses Lu Ming had met. She was completely a piece of unpolished jade that had not been carved. That vast vitality hidden in the depths of her body made even Lu Ming feel shocked. Could it be the legendary life body? Lu Ming thought of a legend and his heart trembled. In the world, there were some innately terrifying constitutions. Without special means, it was very difficult to discover, but it was shocking. The life body was one of them. If it's the life body, it can explain why she could make me have a trace of clarity, and also explain why she could recognize me. Lu Ming's thoughts were flying. The life body had an amazing perception of all kinds of living creatures. He could recognize a person through the characteristics of life. This was a talent that outsiders could not learn. You too. Lu Ming has something to talk to Xiang alone. Is that okay? Lu Ming said to the young woman and the middle-aged man. The young woman was a little hesitant. Don't worry. I see that Xiang is very talented, and I have the intention to take her as my disciple, so I have a few questions to ask. Lu Ming explained. Take Xiang as your disciple? The young woman's eyes lit up. Lu Ming was a disciple of the Dragon God Valley. If he could take Xiang as his disciple, she would naturally be happy. Okay, young master, please ask. The young woman hurriedly said and then left with the middle-aged man. They stood in the distance and looked over. At the scene, only Lu Ming and Xiang were left. Xiang, since you know who I am, aren't you afraid of me? Don't you hate me? Xiang's grandfather was the patriarch of the Lu clan fort. When Lu Ming went on a killing spree, Xiang's grandfather was in seclusion and managed to escape. Lu Ming was secretly glad that the people closest to Xiang did not die in his hands. Otherwise, Xiang might hold a grudge against him. Thump, thump, thump. At this moment, there was a loud drumbeat in the Lu clan fort. It was the sound of war drums. Enemy attack, enemy attack. The Zhao clan, it's the Zhao clan. An anxious roar could be heard as several figures rushed out of the Lu clan fort. At the same time, the entire Lu clan fort was covered in a brilliant glow as the grand formation was activated. Lu Wanjun and the middle-aged man were startled. The Zhao clan is here again, damn it. The middle-aged man was furious. I'm afraid they are not friendly this time. Lu Wanjun wore a solemn expression. Young madam, you guys stay here. I'll go take a look. The middle-aged man flew toward the front of the fort and regrouped with the others. Let's go take a look too, Lu Ming said as he held Xiang's hand and stepped forward. Lu Wanjun quickly followed behind. There were already many figures standing in front of the Lu clan fort. They were all experts of the Lu clan fort. However, Lu Ming discovered that there were not many experts among them. There were only a few high-level martial emperors above the 7th layer of the martial royal realm. The leader was an old man with white hair and beard. He seemed to be an 8th layer martial royal realm expert. Grandfather, Xiang called out softly as she looked at the old man. A huge warship was parked outside the Lu clan fort. The warship was majestic and ferocious. A terrifying aura emanated from the warship. Whoosh! A muscular middle-aged man stepped out from the warship. His aura was ferocious. He was also an 8th-layer martial royal realm expert. This is Zhao Tianba, the patriarch of the Zhao clan. Lu Wanjun stood beside Lu Ming and whispered, "Old man Lu, I've given you a month. Have you made up your mind? Surrender now and join the Zhao clan." Zhao Tianba's voice echoed throughout the Lu clan fort. "Don't even think about it." Xiang Beila's grandfather roared. Zhao Tianba's face darkened as he said, "If you don't surrender, the entire Lu clan fort will be slaughtered." Boom! Zhao Tianba's aura became even more ferocious as it pressed down on Xiang's grandfather. Xiang's grandfather did not back down and resisted with his aura. "What's going on?" Lu Ming asked Lu Wanjun. "Half a year ago, the Lu clan fort was in trouble. A demon came and killed many of our high-ranked martial royal realm experts. The Zhao clan fort took advantage of the situation and tried to take over the Lu clan fort. They came once a month ago and said that they would give the Lu clan fort a month to consider. Otherwise, they would flatten the Lu clan fort." Lu Wanjun explained. Lu Ming was enlightened. In the martial world, the strong preyed on the weak. It did not matter if it was a large sect or a small faction. If they were weak, they would be taken over by other factions. It was the same for the 13 top factions in the Tsang continent. If many of the Saint Realm experts in the Dragon God Valley were killed, the Divine Sky sect and the other factions would immediately send people to take over the Dragon God Valley. Old man Lu, don't blame us if the Lu clan is courting death. Don't think that you can stop the Zhao clan's movement technique with a broken formation. Zhao Tianba said coldly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One figure after another flew out from the huge warship. These figures flew out of the warship and stood in front of the Lu clan fort. Powerful auras burst out and formed a terrifying pressure. Many of them were high-level martial royal realm cultivators, above the 7th level of the martial royal realm. The terrifying auras made the people of the Lu clan fort pale. So many experts. Is the Zhao clan fort going all out? They are determined to take over the Lu clan fort. Many people of the Lu clan fort said in trembling voices. The Lu clan fort had lost many experts. How could they defeat the Zhao clan fort? Boom! An old man stepped out from the group of people from the Zhao clan. A terrifying aura permeated the air, causing the faces of the people from the Lu clan to turn even uglier. 9th Martial Royal Realm. The old man from the Zhao clan fort was a 9th Martial Royal Realm expert. In the Lu clan fort and the Zhao clan fort, a 9th Martial Royal Realm expert was the most powerful existence. The Lu clan fort used to have a 9th Martial Royal Realm Supreme Elder, but he was killed by the demon half a year ago. Lu clan, if you don't surrender, I'll kill you all. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.